So, a very good morning to all of you. Jai Hind and welcome to the daily current affairs and MCQ series. I believe that you all must be doing good. So, let's get started with the first article that we are discussing today. Good morning, all. That is, the Prime Minister has held the first ever summit with the 5 Central Asian republics. This is important because certainly recently you had the Chinese also, they had also had a summit with the 5 Central Asian republics. Apart from that, remember, these are the 5 countries which are particularly important from our local geopolitics perspective, right? So let's discuss what are exactly the things at the hand. So you can see the leaders from all the 5 Central Asian republics, right, and the Prime Minister in the picture. Right, so as far as your syllabus is concerned, from that perspective, the relationship between India and the Central Asian republics, key areas of engagement, and this first ever summit between India and these 5 Central Asian republics, that becomes important, right? So what exactly has been discussed here is that basically we have pitched for an integrated approach for regional connectivity and cooperation for the next 30 years. Now see, this basically is an extended neighborhood policy, you can say. That is the extended neighborhood policy through which we are viewing the things here for enhanced connectivity in the region, and also for the next 30 years an extended or increased cooperation amongst the 5 Central Asian republics along with India, right? Apart from that, we have also flagged the concerns regarding Afghanistan. Why? Because certainly we also share, and some of the Central Asian republics, 3 out of them, they also share borders with Afghanistan. So the stability, the situation in Afghanistan, that will certainly have a direct impact on the Central Asian republics and also India, right? So that was also discussed during the summit, and mutual cooperation has been again touted that has become even more important for our regional security and stability, right? So that is, you can say, again an issue that has been on the minds of the leaders for quite some time now, because after the Taliban, they captured power in Afghanistan, they have not still until this date, they have not formed a regional government or a government in Afghanistan having all the stakeholders on board, right? So that certainly makes the situation even more precarious as far as Afghanistan's stability is concerned. Or क्योंकि अगर Afghanistan की stability, if Afghanistan's stability is, that cannot be ensured, then certainly India also and the Central Asian republics also, they also have a threat regarding on that front. ठीक है कि हमारी जो स्टेबिलिटी है उसके ऊपर भी एक क्वेश्चन मार्क रहेगा ही रहेगा, हमारी सिक्योरिटी कंसर्न्स के रिलेटेड भी एक क्वेश्चन मार्क रहेगा, राइट? सो दैट इज रिगार्डिंग दिस आर्टिकल, राइट? लेट्स एनहांस the understanding regarding the Central Asian Summit with the help of this question now. Yes. So which of the following statement is or are correct with respect to the Central Asian republics? First, the India Central Asia dialogue is a mechanism at the level of defense ministers of the 5 Central Asian states and India. Second, the Delhi Regional Security Dialogue on Afghanistan was hosted by India with the participation of top national security officials of all 5 Central Asian states. And third, all the Central Asian countries are part of the Belt and Road Initiative of China. So, please mark your answers in the comment section. Okay, Karan is saying A. Hanji, the rest of you. चलिए, ग्रेट. सो लेट्स डिस्कस द फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट. देखो जो पहली स्टेटमेंट है, राइट, सिमरनजीत इज आल्सो सेइंग ए. ओके, शुभांकर सेज डी, राइट? सो लुक, व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द इंडिया सेंट्रल एशिया डायलॉग, this particular is not at the level of the defense ministers, rather it is at the level of the foreign ministers of the 5 Central Asian republics and India. So the first statement will be incorrect. Hence, you can eliminate option D, you can eliminate option A, right? You are left with B and C. So that is, you have 3 as common. So that means that this is absolutely going to be a part of the answer. Okay, all the Central Asian republics, they are part of the OBOR or the Belt and Road Initiative of China, right? So that is certainly true. Then when you talk about the Delhi Regional Security Dialogue that was held recently, a few months back, only in November 2021, we have hosted the Regional Security Dialogue, and all the Central Asian states, they sent their national security advisors, their top security officials to conduct or to participate in that summit. So this is also correct. So the answer will be 2 and 3, that is option B. Okay, yes, exactly, Kumar Chandrakant. Chaliye, great. So I believe that is clear, right? So you don't have the defense ministers, but rather you have the foreign ministers, right? Chaliye, great. So apart from that, you also have, apart from the Belt and Road initiatives where all these countries are a part of it, apart from that, you also have the, quadrilateral traffic in trade agreement that includes China, which also includes the Central Asian countries, right? So that is the role and that is the relevance, significance which the Central Asian republics have come to play. ठीक है कि almost हर regional pact में या organization में या agreement में they are a part and they certainly play a role in that, right? चलिए. So moving to the next article now. So the state of Andhra Pradesh has declared the creation of 13 new districts. These districts are going to be notified on the Telugu New Year, this year itself in 2022, right? And with that, a host of other things will also have to be done. So what becomes important from your exam perspective, from your prelims perspective, is that the new districts Andhra Pradesh has created, the role of the Ministry of Home Affairs and the cadre reallocation which now will have to be done, right? Because certainly you have the new districts. That means that new IAS officers will have to be allotted for those newly created districts, which means certainly there is a good news for you, right? That the number of posts at least coming from Andhra, from that cadre, they'll get increased, right? Chaliye. So for the delivery of, or for the more efficient delivery, what the state government has said that for good governance to enhance, these new districts are being created in the state of Andhra, and 2 districts will be exclusively for the tribal population, right? So please bear in mind that you have 2 districts which are going to be exclusively for the tribal population. Apart from that, the tribal dominated Araku Lok Sabha constituency is being split into two new districts, right? And this is because the size being too large and spread over too many districts. So what is important here is that you must be knowing that how many Lok Sabha constituencies right now Andhra is having, and apart from that, what exactly is the cadre allocation policy is going to be there. Yeah, more Pranjal is saying more segregation will help in better governance as well. Certainly Pranjal, देखो simple सी बात है, if you are having 2 big districts which are having tribal population also, which is having non-tribal population also, then it becomes actually difficult to provide for better targeted policies for those specific groups. So in that particular case, this move certainly I believe would be helpful, right? But certainly this is something regarding or relating to the promises which were made by the present government in their manifesto also before they were going for the elections, right? Chaliye. Then apart from that, the 2 new tribal districts which we discussed, the names are Manyam and the Allur Sitaram Raju district. These are the 2 districts which are going to be exclusively tribal districts, right? And here it becomes important from your AMC, or you can say ancient medieval culture perspective also, that this is the legendary Telugu freedom fighter on whose name this district has been created. That is Alluri Sitaram Raju, right? So he was a legendary Telugu freedom fighter. So this also becomes not just from your कहाँ आपके syllabus में कहाँ fall करेगा फिर ये polity and governance, certainly creation of new districts, right? Role of Ministry of Home Affairs, जहाँ से cadre allocation के लिए approval लेना पड़ेगा आंध्रा को, और उसके साथ साथ you also have this gentleman here, the great freedom fighter on whose name this new tribal district has been created, right? So please remember this name. It can be a potential question in AMC as well, right? Okay. इसके अलावा देखो, अगर थोड़ी सी बात करें that what exactly are the powers of the center and the states as far as the creation of new districts is concerned. So there you have, the Andhra Pradesh Districts Formation Act of 1974, under which the state government has taken that decision. So you have the state government which has the power. If you want to create a new district in the state, then it is in the under the domain of the jurisdiction of the respective state government, right? Yes, exactly. Chandrakant is saying Araku coffee is unique and is a unique variety of from Andhra Pradesh. Okay, great. Absolutely. ठीक है. So these are some of the angles through which questions can be asked from this particular article. Right. चलिए. So let's take a question now. हाँ जी. Which of the following statements either are correct regarding the newly created districts in Andhra Pradesh? First, the Telugu New Year's Day called Ugadi, their new year falls on the 1st of April. That is, the new year, which is called Ugadi, falls on the 1st of April. And second, with the creation of new districts now, there are 26 Lok Sabha constituencies and districts in Andhra Pradesh now. So what do you think should be the answer here? Yes, certainly cooperative federalism, because ultimately the center will have to provide for those many reallocations for the cadre. How many Lok Sabha constituencies do we have in Andhra Pradesh right now? You are marking answers as C and B. Okay, Anil also says B. Yes, Shubhankar, Kumar Chandrakant, Rohit, Pranjal, Vicky, Simran. See how many? Look, we do not have the Lok Sabha constituencies and the number of districts as being 26 here. That is not true. And you also don't have the Ugadi, that is the Telugu New Year, that does not fall on the 1st of April. When does it fall? When does the Telugu New Year fall? Because that is the date when these new districts are going to be notified, they are going to be brought into existence. But that doesn't fall on the 1st of April, that falls on the 2nd of April. Right. So first is also incorrect, second is also incorrect. You do not have 26 Lok Sabha constituencies, you have 26 districts, but you have 25 Lok Sabha constituencies. ठीक है, तो Lok Sabha constituencies कितनी है? 25 ही है, लेकिन districts कितनी है? 26. Right. So answer will be D, that is neither 1 nor 2 is correct. ठीक है, it is not on the 13th of April when you talk about the New Year's Day, that is Ugadi, that is on the 2nd of April, right, on which the Andhra Pradesh state government has said that they are going to notify these new 13 newly created districts in Andhra, right? No worries with that. Chaliye. So let's move forward to the next article now. So this is an article that talks about the ISRO's SSLV, right, a small satellite launch vehicle, which certainly the ISRO is developing, and it is you know, it intends to conduct its trial very soon. Yes, exactly, Simranpreet. It's okay to make mistakes while you're preparing. It's absolutely fine. No worries with that. ठीक है, ये सेशन इसीलिए है ताकि आप लोग यहाँ गलती करके सीख सको और यूपीएससी एग्जाम में गलती ना करो. राइट, फाइन. सो कमिंग बैक टू दिस आर्टिकल हियर, व्हाट इज important from your exam perspective is the small satellite launch vehicle, right? Compare it with the PSLV, that is your homework. The routine, the big engine version of the launch vehicle, then the features, objectives of the SSLV. So ISRO has said that in the month of April somewhere they are going to conduct the trials, they are going to test the SSLV, right? And it will have its maiden development flight in 2022 month of April. Why this is important? This is important because to launch the small satellites for low Earth orbits, this is a vehicle which is far more capable, which is having less cost involved, which is having less development time involved as against the PSLV. ठीक है, अभी तक होता क्या आया था कि हम जो है PSLV के साथ ही स्टैक करके छोटे सैटेलाइट्स को भी लॉन्च करते थे, बट दैट सर्टेनली रिक्वायर्स कि आपने बड़े सैटेलाइट्स कुछ लॉन्च करने हैं, उसके साथ यू आर पिगीबैकिंग दोज स्मॉल सैटेलाइट्स along with those big satellites and you are launching them on the PSLV. But that certainly was troublesome. Why? Because that involved huge amount of costs and that certainly took some time as well. SSLV जो है, अगर आप इसको develop करके successfully launch करके successfully test करके, if you are able to develop it into a full blown launch vehicle, then certainly that is going to cut down your cost also. That is going to cut down your launch time as well, right? Exactly. देखो सिंपल सी बात है, लो अर्थ ऑर्बिट में जरूरी नहीं है कि हमें PSLV की जरूरत हो, उस तक SSLV जो है दैट इज केपेबल इनफ टू लॉन्च दैट सैटेलाइट. अगर आपको उससे ऊपर जाना है, if you want to go to the higher earth orbits, right, for that certainly you need a polar satellite launch vehicle, that is a PSLV, right? और यही जो है इसरो का अभी तक वर्क हॉर्स रहा है. All the major launches that have been done through the PSLVs only, right? And as against it, SSLV is the smallest vehicle at 100 ton mass of the capabilities, right? And it will only take 72 hours to integrate it, unlike the 70 days taken now for a launch vehicle. So see, as against 70 days, you just have here 72 hours. So that means you drastically cut down on the cost, you cut down on the time as well, right? Exactly, Pranjal. Mainly to deliver Earth observation or remote sensing satellites. Certainly. Yes, exactly. That is one of the differences between PSLV and the GSLVs. ठीक है, चलिए. So let's take a question now. This is the pictorial description here. You can take a look at in the PDF, right? चलो, moving to the question straight away. So which of the following statements is or are correct with respect to small satellite launch vehicle SSLV? First, it is intended to cater to a market for the launch of small satellites into low earth orbits. Second, it can carry satellites weighing up to 1000 kg to a low earth orbit, while the tried and tested PSLV can launch satellites weighing beyond the range of 1000 kg. And third, SSLV is perfectly suited for launching multiple microsatellites at a time and supports multiple orbital drop-offs. Yes, so what do you think should be the answer here? Good morning, Rohit. Okay, Pranjal and Kavita are saying C. Rohit is also saying C. Great, absolutely. So why is the answer C? Because certainly it is not 1000 kg, but you have the range of 500 kg up to which the SSLV can bear the load of the satellite, right? Beyond that, you have to go for the PSLVs. Exactly. So the first statement is absolutely fine, second is incorrect, and third is absolutely fine, that you can have multiple micro satellites being sent through the SSLV, one, and two, they can have multiple drop-offs. Yes, exactly, not 1000 kg. So answer will be 1 and 3, that is option C only. Chaliye, theek hai, great. So I believe this is clear to all of you, right? That is the range of the load which can be taken by the SSLV, up to 500 kgs, and in the range of 1000 kg you need the tried and tested PSLV, right? Chaliye. So moving to the next article that concerns the INS Khukri, that has been officially now handed over to the Diu administration for converting it into a museum for the public, right? And regarding that, let's take this question straight away, and through that we are going to discuss it. So which of the following statements is or are correct with respect to INS Khukri? First, it was built by the Goa Shipyard Limited. Second, a ship by the same name was lost during the combat of Indo-Pakistan 1971 war. And third, it had the distinction of being part of both the Western and Eastern fleets. Yes. Hanji. Okay, so people are saying that answer should be B. Why should the answer be B? Chalo, theek hai. Look, I agree with that. That certainly a same name ship was lost during the Indo-Pakistan war. You had the INS Khukri that was, torpedoed during the 1971 war. And again, then by the same name, a ship was constructed. That is what we are discussing right here. Theek hai. Then the third statement is also correct, that INS Khukri, which is now decommissioned, was part of both the Western and the Eastern fleets. That is the distinction it had held. But when it comes to the construction or the shipyard which had constructed it, so it is certainly not Goa. But then which shipyard had conducted it, had built it? Please type it in the comment section. कौन से ship? अगर ये आप कह रहे हो कि आंसर भी होगा, then okay fine, 2 and 3 are going to be correct. But then which dock or which shipyard had built it? Yes, exactly. Mehboob and Pranjal, it was Mazgaon. Yes, it was not Goa, but rather it was Mazgaon. Absolutely. Right. So answer will be 2 and 3. That is option B, because it is not Goa, neither it is Cochin, it is Mazgaon. Right. So what had happened basically is that during, it was Captain Mahendra Nath, under whose watch we were fighting the INS Khukri was deployed, and it had sunk in 1971, right, before it was hit by a Pakistani torpedo. And apart from that, you had the captain and the 194 Navy personnel who were martyred. But however, the Indian Navy had the Mazgaon Dock Shipyards Limited create a similar ship, and that was also called INS Khukri, जिसको अभी म्यूजियम बना दिया है, राइट. सो दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम, क्योंकि अभी 1971, देखो सिंपल सी बात है, 1971 इंडिया पाकिस्तान वॉर की बात हो रही है, जहां पे बांग्लादेश लिबरेशन की भी बात हुई थी, राइट. और अभी रिसेंटली बांग्लादेश ने क्या किया है, अपने 50 साल मनाए हैं किस चीज के, 50 years of their liberation in 1971, right. So that becomes important from that perspective as well. Fine, chaliye. So moving to the last question for the day. Yes, that is, which of the following statements is or are correct with respect to the species called Puma? First, it is listed as a species of least concern by the IUCN, that is the International Union for Conservation of Nature. Second, it has the largest geographic range of any native terrestrial mammal in the Western Hemisphere. And third, habitat loss and fragmentation are one of the major threats being faced by them. Yes. So what do you think should be the answer for question number 5? Yes, exactly. Vishwajit, Vivek, Rohit, Mazgaon. Okay, so we have some answers here. Great, great, great. Fine. So basically, the species was, it was in news basically recently. A study has found that, they are present all across through the Western Hemisphere. These are, that is, it has the greatest geographic range of any native terrestrial mammal, right? So that is factually a new finding, you can say, because of which this species was in news, right? So second is correct. But when you talk about the IUCN status, so IUCN has said it to be least concerned, although there are certain amount of threats which the species or the puma, which also is called big cats, which also is called, right, is facing. But अभी तक जो है ये least concerned species में ही count किया जा रहा है. Apart from that, you have the habitat loss and fragmentation, which are some of the challenges which the species is facing. So for answer क्या हो जाएगा 1, 2 and 3. But yes, that doesn't mean that you can simply go on ignoring the threats which the species are facing, right? So they are also called as cougars, mountain lions, panthers and catamounts, or the big cats as you call them, and they are found throughout the Americas, and they maintain relationship with an astounding 485 living species, and that is why they play a great role or a critical role in holding ecosystems together. Look, simple si baat hai, if a species is having interaction with multiple species in that particular ecosystem, then that means that for the survival of, or for the upkeep of that particular ecosystem, you need that species to survive, right? Otherwise this is going to be troublesome. ठीक है, चलिए. So this is what the finding has been according to a new study, the Western Hemisphere thing which we were talking, right? This is the map here, which the yellow ones say where the mountain lions live or where the pumas live. So you can see the Americas being marked here, both the southern and the northern part of it, right? Chaliye. So that is the map which depicts that, and that brings us to the end of the session for today, right? So thank you so much to all of you. Great. So I believe that you learned something from this session, and if that is the case, do hit that like button, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, study well, Jai Hind and bye bye.